All right, happy today. I'm going to be talking about joy today. I'm really excited. I think it'll be kind of fun and interesting. Definitely a lot different from the depression video. I'm going to talk about what joy is, how to be joyous, how to be kind of joyful all the time. The goal, I think, with joy is to you should be joyful all the time. So, in my church, they call it an unshakable joy, just it doesn't matter what your circumstances are right now, but that you're joyous anyway. And you don't have to, I'm going to go through different ways and the themes of joy, and it's talked about in every religion or no religion. I mean, we have so many themes and quotes where people are like, oh, everything happens for a reason, and that kind of goes along with not letting your circumstances mess with your happiness and your joy altogether. So that's not tied to any religion. And if you do believe in a God, being joyful because God has a plan. You always have to trust the processes. So it goes through everything. I don't want to talk to people that are strictly for one religion, because everybody has their own spiritual beliefs, and I think that's awesome. So you can be joyful no matter what your circumstances are, no matter what you believe, no matter if today sucks, tomorrow sucks. So we're going to go into that a little bit. I think one of the big key components of joy is it's what you attract. So you have to make a choice to be joyful or happy. I'm going to use those words interchangeably. I think joy is a little bit more than happiness. It's just being happy, but the next level, you're just joyful. And man, I don't know what I said. So whatever. You're joyful all the time, doesn't matter your circumstances, and it's about your energies and what you're attracting. So on a non-religious basis, it's called the law of attraction. So whatever you're putting out into the world is coming back to you. So sometimes you know how you see those really happy people, or people that are doing so well, and it seems like they're just the luckiest people out there. Everything is going for them. It's always working. And that goes with the law of attraction. So if you're positive and you're putting out good vibes and you don't let things bring you down, then the universe is going to match your energy. Will Smith talks about it in a couple of his videos. I've probably watched every video he's ever made. And he says that whatever the universe wants to work for you. And I think that that's a really big thing, is to not see it as the world is against you, or, man, why is this happening to me? But instead, flipping that mindset of oh, well, what is this trying to teach me? So that's a little rewire to your brain. Instead of asking, oh, well, why is this happening? Be oh, well, what is this trying to teach me? And still being joyful, because if something's broken, something else is going to grow where that was broken. And if something bad happens, there's bound to be something good that's going to happen. Of course, awful things are going to happen. People die or get illnesses, and you can't necessarily always be joyful in every circumstance, but it's about not letting the world turn you bitter or cold, and just being grateful for the things that you have. So that exercise about doing your gratitude things every day. Gratitude is a big key component. I've said it 100 times about your joy. So that will really help. And that the law of attraction is and you probably have noticed it. So if you've ever just had a really good period in your life, maybe a couple weeks, things were just going good, you felt good every day, and then when you feel good, it's weird, but things just keep working for you. And so that's how the law of attraction works. The book that I just finished reading, it's called The Code to the Extraordinary Mind. He calls it bending your reality. So when you focus your mind and your energy on the right things, reality sort of bends for you, and you're just lucky. But really it's because, and it's not that bad things aren't happening, but it's that your perception of things isn't so negative that it seems like everything is crumbling on you. So bad things still happen to people that are joyful, but they don't let it bring them down, so they don't dwell on it or sit on it, so then they continue to be joyful, and then they notice the good things a little bit more, or notice the small things that you don't really notice when you're kind of down, but you notice when you're joyful because everything is just beautiful and everything's great. And it's kind of a really cool place to be in. Once you get there, you'll just honestly just be driving down the street and you're just smiling, like watching people walk or like little kids playing outside. And that's my goal, is I would love for more people to feel that joy, be excited to get up and do just little things. And it's kind of easy. A little bit, it's easier than we all think it is. We get really scared to jump into joy and to be happy all the time because we're scared that it's going to be taken away. But the thing with an unshakable joy is that it can't be taken away. It doesn't matter what happens to you, because you have to find that joy within yourself and in your mind and your soul and everything that doesn't go away depending on the circumstances or what's going on around you, because you'll reach this sense of kind of bliss and peace, inner peace, whatever you want to call it. You'll find it within yourself that it's just always there, so it doesn't really go away, and no one can take that away from you. So this unshakable joy can't come from your boyfriend or your girlfriend. It can't come from your parents. It can't come from your kids, your job, or anything. So that's a big key thing. It can't come from anywhere else except for from you. And it's possible for anybody. We always think of our brains as like this set in stone thing, but we're kind of like our phones, right? They get updates all the time to fix bugs and fix malfunctions, and we get apps on them, and they grow, and they get all these new stuff, and our brain is the same exact way. You can hack a phone the same way you can hack a brain. You can teach yourself to rewire old thoughts so that you can have new ones. So just like stop asking why and start asking, what is this going to teach me? That's like a rewire thing, and then your brain eventually is going to stop doing what it's been doing for so long. And it kind of works the same way with joy. Eventually, when you're on this higher level for so long, you don't drop. You'll still drop low. Like, of course, people still have their bad days, but you don't stay there as long, because your brain, that becomes your homeostasis. If you can learn this joy within yourself and inside, that becomes your normal. And then you're just chilling up here at this higher level, and then when you drop lower, you don't go so low that you can't get back up anymore. So once you start building those steps to get up to being more joyful and happier, it makes life a little bit easier, honestly. I think now that I've reached this level in my life, I think it's easier to be happy than it is to be sad. And I always used to say that it was so hard to be happy and that it's just easier not to feel stuff, but honestly, once you get there, you don't ever want to go back. Obviously, I don't know anyone that would, but it just gets easier to do it every day. And your brain gets used to it. It adapts and it grows. The brain it's a crazy thing, and we have a pretty good control over it, more so than it seems like a lot of the time. Like sometimes things are just like instinct, and of course we have our emotions, but we have to learn how to control ourselves, which also takes, you have to know yourself too. So there's a lot of steps you have to take to get to this higher level, which if you have to have the joy within yourself, you have to be able to like love yourself, but also know how to be alone with yourself, and you have to know how you work. So sometimes you have to like take steps back and, man, why do I think like that? And so sometimes it's like, oh man, yeah, that happened in middle school and I had a really tough time, and so I had really low self-esteem from then on. So you have to kind of figure yourself out, put the puzzle pieces together, figure out your reactions to stuff, what is your innate response, and honestly, some stuff may stem all the way from childhood that you don't even know about. But once you know your own reactions, you can kind of control yourself a little bit. So like, you know that you have a trigger and something happens, and then you learn how to adapt to that to better control your reactions to stuff. So bad things are always going to happen. And right now, the world's pretty sad sometimes, and it's so easy to sit and think about all these awful things and get so sad. I can do it in like 5 minutes if I really want. You scroll on Facebook long enough and you can get pretty depressed. So you have to have like that joy inside no matter what. No one can take that away from you, and I think that that's really important. And here's the other part. No one can give that to you. So your boyfriend can't make you happy unless you find that happiness within yourself. And Facebook isn't going to make you feel better if you don't have that happiness within yourself. So joy is exciting. It's easier to do than we think. It's all about kind of figuring out those things in your head that you need to fix and doing it kind of one step at a time, being grateful for stuff every day, waking up and feeling good. What are you putting in your body that's making you feel like crap? Because I know after I binge eat a bunch of crap for like 2 days, I wake up and I feel awful. Definitely not as great as I feel when I'm eating like veggies and salmon and food that's good for you. Smoking, drinking, all those crazy things, like they all take a toll on your mind and your body. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you stressing too much? Are you worried? And finding like healthy coping mechanisms, you have to learn what works best for you to get out of those times that are hard so that you can feel that joy and appreciate your times of joy even when things are a little bit hard. So I think it's important to be joyful, especially since the world is so hard today. And with the law of attraction, when you're giving off positive vibes, it's not just beneficial for you. If you walk into a room and you have this huge smile on your face and you're joyful, other people feel that. And when you're like super grumpy and you walk into a room, people know that too. So like you have to be really careful. One, who you're around, what are they projecting onto you? And two, what are you putting out into the world? So it's not even just for your own well-being to be happy, but it also benefits so many other people around you because you're radiating yourself into everyone else. So just try to be joyful or learn. There's so many things that you can do to figure it out, but a lot of it comes from yourself. So you have to kind of find that balance within you and figure out how to get there. It's not easy learning how to not let your circumstances make you happy or sad. And let me clarify that it doesn't mean that you can't be happy because you got a job or you can't be happy because you got the new boyfriend. You can. The thing is, if whatever that is that just made you happy, if that goes away, you can't lose your joy. You can be happy with all these things you have in your life, but the key is you have to be happy even if those things get taken away, because things happen. But, if you're joyful no matter what, good things are going to keep coming to you, and then everything kind of naturally is just okay. And so it's all about your brain and what you're thinking every day. Try to flip all your little negative thoughts. Just try to remember that life is happening for you. Everything that is happening is for you. The pain is for growth. You're going to learn something new. You're going to grow into a new person. All those empty, broken spots are going to grow into something else. People fill those spaces. You might lose friends, but then you might gain some. You're going to lose significant others. Maybe not. Some of you get really lucky, but a lot of people do lose significant others and then find somebody else. So, life is huge. So you just kind of have to remember that this joy is just going to keep going, and you'll be okay. So it's all about up here and what you're attracting. So let's try to spread joy and light around to everyone else around us, because I think people really need it. So let's be joyful.